No, he just doesn't like me.
Doesn't like you? How could anyone not like you?
No, it seems impossible.
Doesn't like you? How could that be?
Ma, I know this may be hard for you to understand, but I'm sure there are many people who do not like me.
Jerry, don't say that.
It's true.
No, it isn't. It's not true. You're a wonderful, wonderful boy. Everybody likes you. It's impossible not to like you. Impossible. Morty?
Maybe some people don't like him. I can see that.
Kramer?
Yeah, I like him.
All right, guys, Coals are on. Welcome back to episode number 13 of the Sunday Smoke, with a podcast about nothing, as you already know. And we're back in the original studio.
Back in the dungeon, man.
Back in Jackson's garage. You know, we've been going all over Sydney.
I know we've been doing our rounds, bro.
I know, man.
Seriously.
But it was good last week at Ellie's Factory. Shout out to the E-Man. Nice.
Shout out Established Joinery.
That's
We got a comment on TikTok asking us about whether it was shot in a joinery factory.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, bro. You got a problem?
What do you mean? The guy was nice, man.
No. Top.
You got a problem. He's so aggressive, bro.
No, he's got a keen eye, man.
No, it was a good episode last week.
If the guys are watching now, I forget his name. If you're looking for an apprenticeship, I might know someone hiring.
Jackson with the connect. So Jackson, last week when we spoke with the big E-Man, he introduced a new segment. It was called Stressful.
Well, it's a partially new segment.
Yeah, partially new. Taken off from the unnecessarily stressful situations he came up with. Necessarily stressful situations. Now, that actually gave me a great idea what we can do with this segment. Instead of having them in two segments, necessarily and unnecessarily, why not combine them into one, being stressful situations. And then what it can do is we can say, well, is this situation necessarily stressful or is it unnecessarily stressful?
I like where you're going with this.
Get a bit of feedback from because when we do the clips and stuff, let's
increase the
polls.
pollable questions.
Yes.
Do
you
I like
think
that.
it's necessary or unnecessarily? So we got two this week, one each. What's your one?
All right. So, and this happened to me recently. I was trying to tell a story, all right, to a group of friends. I won't tell exactly the story, but when you're trying to tell a funny story to a group of people or a person, and no one's laughing because they don't get it, they don't get the punchline, they don't understand the whole point of the story.
Crickets.
And you get crickets, and you gotta explain. Oh, you should have been there. It was a lot funnier in person.
Yeah, you should have.
You should have been there.
You know it's bad when you're saying you should have been there.
Yeah, that's when you know you've bombed. Or you should have been there, man.
Or when you try to start to explain more of the story, and you just
start backtracking. Because what happened first was like, it's a disaster. You can't.
I think that's a necessarily stressful situation.
I feel like that's unnecessarily stressful purely because it happens to everyone. Like
it does happen to everyone, but then you don't want to be known as that guy that can't tell a story.
Yeah, true. But at the same time, there's give and take. You know, sometimes you're gonna tell stuff that's good. Sometimes you're gonna tell stuff that's bad. You know, you're gonna flip flop around in between there.
So, what do you guys think? Necessary or unnecessary?
There you go.
My one, it goes back to the good old primary school days, and that's when you're in class, and then you're gonna ask the teacher a question, or you're gonna say thank you. Yeah. And then you call the teacher mum.
Oh, bro, that happened to me too many. I was the kid. I was actually that kid. All right, that like every it happened to me at least once a week. I'd raise my hand. Hey, mum.
Mom.
I've never been so embarrassed in my life. You know, and I'm not the only kid that does it. Everyone does it.
Everyone's done it. I've done it a few times. And you feel bad. Everyone's laughing. You're like, hey, you called the teacher mum. Like everyone's laughing at you and your face goes red and stuff. I think it's an unnecessarily stressful situation. But it depends. How do you feel like? But it depends.
Yeah.
But it depends where you are in the social hierarchy of primary school.
Right, because there's a massive hierarchy.
Yes,
there.
if you're at the top of the hierarchy, you're the top dog. Everyone likes you.
You're the fastest kid in class. That's the thing. The leader of the hierarchy is always the fastest kid in the school.
So if you're at the top of that, you don't have to worry. You know, everyone's gonna have a laugh and everyone's gonna forget about it. But if you're at the bottom, man, if you're at the bottom of that, you could be mama's boy for the rest of your days in primary school.
Yeah, that's not a good look for you, and your primary school rep.
Jackson, there's a lot of topics that we haven't really covered in this podcast over time. And one thing that we don't really cover a lot is music-related things.
Pop culture, music.
Yeah, I know. It's like
all those kinds of things.
Like music is a big part of life. Well,
Yeah.
Music is life.
Yeah.
And one of the most popular artists, maybe not now, but when he was peaking, is Drake.
I'd say he's consistently one of the top 3 most popular artists.
But do you think he's overhyped in a way?
No.
Nah?
No. I don't think he's overhyped because he just puts out so much content, right? So much content that hits all the time.
Yeah.
I said this a few years ago. There's very few people that have turned music into a business in that everything they produce is just consumed.
Yeah.
No matter what it is. There's Drake, Chris Brown, Beyonce, Rihanna.
Mm-hmm.
Those massive A-listers, right? But there's even A-listers that don't always hit like that.
Yeah.
And Drake is just one of those guys, probably the most guy in at least the past 10 years.
Yeah.
Right? That's just consistently been there, right at the top, and always producing. And people are always consuming.
Yeah.
I'm not saying
I don't think he's overhyped.
No?
I think he's legitimately like Drake. He's one of my favorites.
Yeah, of course.
Maybe not some of his new stuff that he's released over the last couple of years, but when you go back and listen to some of his older stuff, like it slaps.
Yeah, but
slaps hard.
A lot of the thing is like hindsight's a very funny thing because you can listen to a song, you know, when it's released and you can not like it at first.
Yeah.
Then a year goes by, you go back, re-listen to the album.
Yeah.
You know, whichever it might be, and you're like, shit, that was actually fucking good.
Yeah.
You know. And that reminds me a lot of his Views album. Now that everyone loved it when it first came out. I loved it too. But then the more I listened to it as further time went on, I'm like, shit, this is like one of the great albums out there.
Was that Summer 16? Was that when that came out? I can't remember which one.
To be honest, I can't remember. It was with like Pop Style and you know.
Yeah. Nah. So you're a Drake fan?
I'm a massive Drake fan.
Yeah.
I don't see how anyone that isn't into at least hip hop in general can't be a Drake fan.
Yeah.
It's just not possible.
So to do another recap from last week's episode with the E-Man, you asked the question, what's the worst house chore? And we sort of went on a little tangent over there, and I didn't get to say my piece.
I know.
I felt very left out.
He's come back for his revenge, man.
But my thing, it's not so much a house chore per se. It's more so because I help around the house where I can. I do the dishes. I take the rubbish out. I'll fold the washing, pack the washing when I can.
Oh, you're a very helpful boy.
I try my best, you know.
Right.
But my thing is when I know that I'm going to do something, like let's say I'm going to go do the dishes, for example, and right before I'm about to do it, my mum comes into the room and says, "Sam, do you mind doing the dishes?"
It's thrown you off completely then.
Yes, it's like I was going to do it. I was going to take the initiative.
Because you know, and I've seen a lot of people complain about this. You know, it's funny that you say that because some people, they'll say, oh, like it's just made me not want to do it because now you're asking me to do it.
Yeah.
But really what it's done, all right, is it's actually ruined, what would you say, like the reward.
Yes.
You know, the mental reward you get from doing it. Because when you do it on your own accord, right, people are going to look at you and be like, wow, look at this guy. So he's got, you know, initiative.
Yeah. What a good son.
He's gone, he's done the dishes, he's done all, I haven't had to ask. But now they don't know that you were already planning on doing that. Right?
And then you have to say, oh, then you get angry because
I was just about to do that.
Then you look like an asshole.
Exactly.
So that's my thing. It's not so much a chore. It's just, mum, you know what, mum, if you're listening.
Don't tell me what to do, mom.
Let me live my life.
For those who haven't seen, Kendrick has, you know, been kind of irrelevant for like...
Was it 5 years?
5 years.
Yeah.
Well, he hasn't released an album for 5 years. So I'd say for 4 years, you know, he hasn't really been doing too much. He's released a couple songs here and there. He's been featured on a few songs. But he hasn't really done anything, you know.
Yeah. Now.
And now he's finally got a release date for his new album, 2022. It's the 13th of May, I believe. I'm ecstatic, bro. I am, because you know how big of a fan I am.
No one loves Kendrick Lamar more than you.
No one loves Kendrick Lamar more than me, man. Like,
I love Kendrick Lamar.
I genuinely believe if this album is a banger, he'll be widely received as one of the top 5 rappers of all time.
Yeah, because I've never been a Kendrick fan, but I want to give him a chance, because there was a TikTok I was watching and they broke down one of his songs. I can't remember what the song was called, but they broke it down where it was in numbers. Like, you know, they had the number 13. You know which one I'm talking about.
I know which one. I forget the name of the song.
Yeah, but then he broke it down. I'm like, geez, shit, man, that's pretty sick. Like, when you think about it, like, that's so clever. It's so creative.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing about Kendrick. That's the thing about rap that's a bit harder, because you can say hip hop, right, in general, and you got like Drake.
Yeah.
Even Chris Brown to a degree, because he's like R&B, and that's kind of hip hop ish.
Yeah.
You know, like Usher, like those kind of people. It's kind of hip hop, but it's kind of not. But then there's like rap, which is a lot harder for some people to enjoy.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people love it, but some people aren't really into it. And it's hard to understand what goes into making music like that. The lyricism, the storytelling. And sometimes it doesn't sound... Because Kendrick Lamar, he's not easy on the ears. His voice is not like... It's not for everyone.
Yeah.
But when you really start understanding how he you know, makes his lyrics and how he enunciated... How he storytells, how he enunciates his words, how he fits everything into what he's trying to say, all this information, compact. It's a work of art. It really is. You know,
I feel like with rappers, you have to sort of fall in love with the artist.
Yeah, you
not
have
the
to.
music.
Because you can like rap, but doesn't mean you're gonna like all rap music.
Yeah, that's right.
You pick your artists and you pick who you're gonna stand by, what style fits you, what you enjoy listening to, and what you understand. Because a lot of it is hard to understand what they're trying to say.
Yeah.
You know, so sometimes, you know, when I first started listening to Kendrick Lamar, I didn't like all of his music, right? Yeah. But the more I listened to him and the more I understood the way that he was trying to tell stories, the more I understood the rest of his music. And that's when I really started to appreciate it, you know? And now I've got like, I don't know, something like 150 saved Kendrick Lamar. I don't even know if he's got 150 songs out there, but you know what, you get the point.
Putting him on repeat before his album drops.
Yeah, bro. Oh, 100%.
But shout out to Kendrick, man. Good luck with your album.
Oh man, he's been gone for so long that I can't put too much faith into this album, you know, because it's been 5 years and now it's like, if it flops, then I'm gonna be depressed.
That's it. Go in with no expectations and just enjoy the music.
Yeah, just enjoy the art. All right, Sam. So I wanna go a little bit deeper. I want to talk about something serious.
Yeah.
Because obviously you're 26-ish now, and I've just turned 21.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm kind of finding my path, and you're on your path now. And it's about transitioning because we got a lot of young viewers, right?
Yeah.
Younger. So it's about transitioning from school into, you know, work life, you know, real life, getting out there, you know, kind of doing your thing, finding your career, finding your path.
Yeah.
And some of the lessons that I've learned in, I'd say, this past 3 years or so, of what at least I've learned, and I want you to share with what you've learned. One of the biggest things that I've learned transitioning from school to life, and it's not just about work, it's about life in general, is that the people that have been there and done that, don't always think that you're just special, right? Everyone has their path. Everyone's going through the same thing.
Yeah.
You have different varying situations, but listen to the people that have come before you. Listen to your parents, listen to your cousins, listen to your friends, the older people that have been there, done that, and want to explain situations. Because let me tell you, you're not special, right? Until you go out there and make something of yourself. Right, you're not special. You're not. It's hard to say you're not an individual because you are.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you have something that's so common with everyone else your age. So a lot of the same experiences that you have, people have gone through before. So they're not just saying it for no reason. Trust the advice, take the advice, and sometimes you got to have a bit of blind faith. Sometimes you have to have a bit of blind faith and just understand the people that want the best for you. They're actually going to give you good, solid advice. Yeah. You don't have to take everything exactly, literally do it to a T, but you have to follow the guidelines that they set for you because it's there for a reason.
Yeah.
That's probably one of the biggest things that I've learned.
No, I like that. Well said. I'll go a little bit of on a different side of this, because a lot of people that they come out of school and they go into the workplace and stuff, they're a bit lost coming out of school. Like, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
Like, they might take a gap year, travel, all that stuff. Look, at the end of the day, you do what you feel is right. Because at the end of the day, like Andy said, the past is the past. You can't go back. So just focus on the now, and then don't worry, because what will come will come.
Yeah.
Now, what I want to say is that there's one thing that we always have in this life, and that's time. And time runs out.
Yes.
We all have our time. You never know when it's going to be, but we all have our time. Now, we're going from school into the workplace, or going from school to, going to travel, take a gap year, whatever it is. Just make sure that whatever you do, use your time wisely, and always keep learning. Never stop learning. Always think, all right, what's the next step going to be? So I'm going to do this now. What's the next step going to be?
Yeah.
And gear yourself up for that next step. You know what I mean? Because it's all good to leave school and to, 2-3 years goes past, and that's fine. That's time that you can sort of get back through doing other things, because that's new experiences that you're going to learn.
Yeah.
But the problem is that, okay, 3 years goes by, 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, 7 years.
All of a sudden.
And all of a sudden, you're 25, 20, like you can be my age, you could be 30, 31, and you're like, geez, where did that time go? Jackson, I think it's time to bring back our fresh segment that we brought in last week.
Yes.
Reddit. Where we give advice to people on Reddit.
Advice, commentary, whatever it may be.
So we got a couple of stories coming in. You want to start with it? You want to kick us off with this one?
Yep. All right. So this is from God of War 1234. That rhymes. All right. Yesterday, I went out for ramen and saw this girl that works there, and thought, "Damn, she's cute." I went to pay for my food, and struck up a conversation about her dyed hair, and also noticed a butterfly tattoo behind her ear, which then led to us talking about tattoos. Maybe it's just me, but I felt good about the conversation since she was pretty engaged and conversational. I'm not expecting too much to come out of this and understand that she's working, but what else can I do to show interest?
Very interesting from God of War. It's a nice little, maybe a potential love story here.
I know. The ramen love story, man.
I know, this ramen of love. I think he's done good, starting up a conversation with a girl from the ramen place. She seems keen. I mean, if she wasn't keen, I get what he's saying. Like, maybe she's just working and she's just trying to be nice so that get repeat customers. I don't know. Maybe there's a little bit. I think there's a little bit of interest there. Talking about tattoos, going away from the ramen.
Yeah.
I think if I'm given advice, I think the best thing that you could probably do is potentially go in, obviously on a day where she's working. Like going in, if you're stopping past that place, I'm assuming the place isn't that far from, your work or whatever. Just go in, see if she remembers you, and just try and secure the number. Be like, hey, I came in the other day. I'm not sure if you remember me. I thought you were cute. You got to give them a nice
very
compliment
direct
at start.
approach.
I'm always for direct approaches.
Listen, I since the end of the question is, but what else can I do to show interest? Right. It doesn't seem like this guy is necessarily the straight kind of shooter. Hey, can I have your number? Maybe we can go out. So what I would suggest, if you're going the slightly more indirect route, you got to plan it out. Become a regular customer, right? See her more often, right? Okay. And eventually, when you get talking, then you can, steer away from ramen, right? She'll notice you. Right, then you can get to know her personal life a little bit more. Then you can ask. Maybe she's got a boyfriend. She's just being nice.
Maybe,
right, and you'll just get struck down straight away. Find that stuff out first. Yeah. Right. If that's kind of the route you want to take, just become a regular customer. Get her to get to know you.
So you like the slow grind.
It's not necessarily that's what I like. That's just what I can tell from from this guy.
See, I'm all about getting people out of their comfort zones a little bit.
I
think going direct, because if you're gonna just be a repeat customer.
Yeah, but the problem is that if she's just working, right, you don't want to catch them off guard at work, because when they're focused on other things, right, it's easy for them to, oh, sorry, nah, like I'm not interested. I'm at work. I'm busy. I've got other things on my mind. Right. Maybe if you were friends and you want to get them out of the blue, that's different. But because you don't know her, she's at work.
Yeah. I think the question is that his regular ramen place? If that's his regular, then the answer then changes, because you don't want to be because then you can't use my one. Then definitely can't use my one, because you don't want to just go in there with that quick fire approach, get shut down, and then it'd be awkward, when you're going to go in there next week when you go after work.
Exactly.
So
disaster.
That's one thing that we have to establish. Maybe I'll send him a message.
Yeah.
Find out more to
God
the
of
story.
War 1, 2, 3, 4. Hit us up for dating advice.
All right, and I've got one coming in from Utopia with about I think there's about 4 A's in there. And what Utopia is saying is, my best friend Danielle and I don't get to see each other a lot because we're both always busy. We don't text a lot, but we've always had a thing where if one of us needed to vent or news to share, we would no matter what. Today, I found out that she got her nose pierced, cheated on her boyfriend, broke up with him, and now dating the guy that she cheated on her ex with. I'm a little upset she never told me, and thought maybe she didn't want people to know, which is fair enough. But all of our friends know because she told them. Am I being dramatic of thinking that we're drifting apart? And just quickly for the viewers, apologies for looking at the screen. Unfortunately, we had printer issues and we don't have the show notes with us, and I can't see the screen very well. But we tried our best.
All right. Well,
what do you think?
Listen, it's of my opinion that if you're best friends, quote unquote, right?
Yeah.
Just because you're busy doesn't mean you don't talk.
Yeah.
I got, some of my best friends. We don't talk often, but I know their full story all the time. It's always updated, right? So, and here and there are things that I'm like, oh shit, I didn't know. But generally speaking, I'm always keeping up to date on the big stuff. So I don't think you're dramatic for thinking that you drifted apart. I just think maybe you weren't as good friends as maybe you thought you were.
Yeah. Well,
being realistic, if everyone else knows, obviously you're not busy. She's not busy enough to tell them, like too busy to tell them.
Yeah, that's right.
So why would she be too busy to tell you? Or she could say, hey, like, oh, look at what happened. Like, can we talk about this? Or give you a phone call. This is one thing that really bothers me. All right, that really, really, really bothers me.
Going on a rant,
right? And I'm 100% at fault of doing this too. Where you say, oh, sorry, I've been too busy. All right, to give you a call. 5 minutes of everyone's got 5 minutes in there. I don't care how busy you are. You're on your break at work. You're in the car on the way home. You are never too busy. All right, to give someone a quick phone call. Never. Or send them a text message. Never too busy. It doesn't matter what you're doing.
Really?
Never.
I'm gonna call you out on this one, man. How many times?
Exactly. That's why I just said, all right, I'm at fault for doing this too. All right, that's because I'm lazy sometimes. Right, and I look at that and I'm like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
I'll call him later or I'll message later. But that's the point, right? Is that's obviously the way that she's thinking of you. Right? Now, obviously, if you see her enough and often enough, right, then you can get away with doing that. Because, like, for example, you might call me and I'll be like, oh, fuck, I'll call him tomorrow.
Yeah.
Right? That's because I see you enough to get away with that. I always know what's going on. Right? But if you don't see each other, maybe you go a month or 2 months without seeing each other.
Yeah.
As if you're too busy. There's no way. At night time, before you go to bed, send them a text. You're not too busy. Everyone has to sleep at some point. And everyone has to brush their teeth at some point. Yeah. There is a time between brushing your teeth and walking to your bedroom, all right, that you have to give a phone call or a text message. All right, so I just don't think you're as good friends as.
I'm with you on that one. Yeah, like especially with something like that. That's a juicy topic.
Yeah, and she was telling all the other friends as well.
Yeah.
So if you're her best friend, why wouldn't she tell you? That's massive. And I'm assuming you're all girls, right? This is some big shit that girls talk about. Girls talk about this shit.
Yeah.
A lot. So
I think to be honest, I think if they're not as close friends, I think this Utopia girl, I think she has every right to just sack this friend because her friend sounds a bit seedy, to be honest. Look, if you ask me, going and cheating and then now together with the ex, it's all too common scenario, but I don't know, man. She sounds a bit she sounds like damaged goods, to be honest.
Yeah. But I mean, also it depends on how long ago this happened. Like maybe she told a couple of the other friends like 2 days before you and just maybe didn't get the time to tell you, right? Because they were in a conversation or whatever.
Yeah.
Or maybe it happened 3 weeks ago and they all knew a week after and you wait 2 weeks. Then it's a different story. You know, it's all in the details, but I don't think I don't think she's being dramatic necessarily for thinking that they're drifting apart. I also don't necessarily think that means that she's not they don't think they're friends. It just maybe she didn't think that you were important enough to tell right away.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion.
Jackson, just before we wrap this one up, I've got a quick shout out that I want to do, which I did on the episode where we did the chili challenge. Now, I didn't upload that one. I just cut that part because we had a lot of chili in our mouths. It sounded very unprofessional. I wanted
disrespectful.
I know. I wanted to do it justice.
Yeah.
So I'm bringing it back. I want to do a quick shout out to a couple old acquaintances from high school, Josh Quinnen, Aldane Austria, Qua Fam, and Mike. I don't know Mike's last name, but shout out to Mike as well. Now, what they did was they joined with the Guy Sebastian's Foundation, Step Change.
Yep.
That's about raising awareness for mental health, and through those donations, they want to implement programs into schools to combat like cyberbullying and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So people don't take their lives, because that's a big issue nowadays. So what they did was, what Guy Sebastian did as well, they pretty much, I think they caught a train to Wagga, and they walked from Wagga all the way back up to Sydney Harbour. 500 kilometre walk.
Yeah.
That's
500 kilometers.
That's a big walk, man.
That's a big job.
It's a big job indeed. So shout out to those boys, man. That is something to be extremely proud of. I'm going to leave a link in the description of this video and on Spotify and everything if you do want to go and donate to Guy Sebastian's Foundation. Step Change is what it's called. But good job, boys. Extremely proud of you, man. Well done. Hope everyone enjoyed this episode. Jackson, it's time for the social media plugs.
Be sure to check us out on, first of all, YouTube at The Sunday Smoke, and Instagram. Follow us at The Sunday Smoke. TikTok, we have The Sunday Smoke clips where you can check out all of our clips and highlights from our all of our episodes.
That's it, man.
Make sure to check out the Step Change, the charity.
Yeah, that's it. Donate if you like. And with that said, Jackson, what's it time for?
Time for the coals to come off.
Beautiful. Thanks for listening, guys.